Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most highly requested video ever on my channel. I am redoing the how to do a wheelie video. The same spot, but with different people. They actually just pulled up. Okay, I mean, he's always on a bike. I'm not. Patrick's here. He's got a new color on his bike. Yeah. Last time you saw this bike, it had orange kind of camo on it, a little different, but.
All right, what gear do you get in when you do wheelies?
Yeah, this is how to do a wheelie.
So,
I told you.
Welcome back many years later.
Yeah, that's correct.
We're gonna do another how to do a wheelie video in the same spot.
Without Cameron. Sorry, Cameron.
Yeah. You need a bike that has brakes.
Yeah, this one
and
doesn't.
A bike that preferably fits you well. And you aren't gonna wanna have your seat all the way up. So if your seat's all the way up here, it's a lot harder to manipulate how much power you put down to the cranks. You can either loop out or not put down enough power. Personally, I don't go all the way down, but I put it about right here, so not very high.
I put mine all the way down. It's honestly rider preference.
Yeah, I do mine all the way up, so.
All the way up?
Yeah, or like a little bit, like an inch down.
You need to know what foot is dominant.
Dominant foot.
And basically your dominant foot is whenever you're not pedaling, which foot do you have forward on flat ground or anything technical, and what's your rider stance.
So are you left dominant?
I'm left foot dominant.
Are you right dominant?
Yeah. But you
okay.
Another way to test this on your bike, stand straight up and get your friend to push you in the back, and whichever one you step forward with after you put your in the back, that's what rider foot.
Okay, I'll tell. So the main question I've had personally on the video is, how do you get your wheel like high up in the air?
So the hardest part of wheeling is getting that first outburst of power and then finding the balance point. So now that you have your dominant foot and you know which one it is, you know that's which one that you're gonna put the power down with. That's the foot that you're gonna use to get the front wheel off the ground.
Basically, if you want it like a really simple breakdown, get your dominant foot, so that being left or right, in a 90-degree angle. Patrick, show him a 90-degree angle. Like all the way up. Like the highest you can get your foot up on the pedal rotation.
So you have your foot like this, you're pressing, you're about to go, you do one small rotation, and then you get right here, and then you
push. Like you literally get your pedal up high, and then it's like literally like stomp down with your foot kind of, so and like push forward.
For me, like right before I put the power down, I do one small rotation right here. My left foot is down the back, and my right foot is forward, which is not my dominant, and then I come down with the power.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're gonna gear, I have 11 gears on my bike, and as you can see, my chain is in the middle, somewhere in the middle. At the end of the day, a lot of people ask, what gear do you wheelie in? And it depends on how fast you're moving.
Yeah, that's true.
Do not put it in gear 1, that's too low.
If you're on a hill and you're doing more of a slow wheelie, go to a lower gear. But I'm assuming, I'm assuming if you're learning how to do a wheelie, you're not gonna be going 20+ miles per hour trying to kick up in a really high gear.
And you're gonna wanna practice this if you don't know how to do it already.
Go to a parking lot, and the thing I did when I first started is practice how many parking spots you can get, and go, and like if your bike has numbers with the gear, go about 3 or 4. If you have a nice bike and you can't see the gears really, and it's more by feeling, kind of, yeah, roughly in the middle of your
a slow cruising pace.
A slow cruising pace.
And it's gonna be a pace where your mind isn't racing, so you're not pedaling super hard.
Yeah.
But you're moving, and you're gonna be able to carry your momentum.
Show them a good, comfortable speed, not too fast, not slow at all. Just like a good speed like that.
So get in a straight line. Get ready. Pick a spot where you're gonna wanna throw the wheelie up. Okay. So I'm just beginning.
He'll start up there, right there. He'll pull up.
A little bit of confidence, a little bit of nerve to throw your front end up. So I'm gonna pick a spot up here. I have it. I'm gonna time my rotation, and I'm gonna throw it up.
Yep. Exactly like that. So don't go too fast. Don't go too slow. It's all about the feeling and preference, because that's how you get your balance point basically by your preference. Yeah. You have to roll into the wheelie. Yeah. You can't stop.
You don't want to come in at a dead stop.
And when you're in the wheelie, after you got in a couple of times, you notice how I move my knees out. That's how you get balance. Balance
with your knees.
You're gonna put your knee out, in, both in the middle. That's how you balance. So like,
that's how you do like a longer wheelie.
Knees as much, and you're gonna be able to use your bars.
Yes. Yeah.
You can kind of it's not gonna turn the bike as much as it would with your knees, but it's gonna basically adjust where your weight is on either side, and it's gonna be good enough for you to go straight. If you want to start making turns, then yeah, you're gonna start turning your butt like that.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about looping out, safety, and back brake and stuff.
Okay.
Start over. Okay, go.
Now we're gonna talk about what happens when things go wrong.
That's looping out. It could be a lot worse than that if you're not controlled with it, if you're not expecting it.
One way, or one thing that you need to get good at before you start wheeling is, and this helps you see that if you're putting the power down. A lot of people when they first start, they use a lot of their arms. Your arms don't do anything. Don't pull up with your arms. Your arms are just gonna snap back. And all right, so you're gonna wanna put the power down, and if you can loop out, like that.
That's good, that means you're getting...
That means you're putting down the power.
Yeah.
And now you just need to find the balance point.
Gotta control.
So be prepared to just simply step off the back of the bike. It's not hard.
It's easy.
Don't freak out, and become comfortable with putting your foot back. Even at high speeds, like when you loop out.
You like run with it.
I loop out.
Oh God.
I'll give you an example.
Just jump back on the bike. That's a little more advanced though, because you usually wreck your balls if you do that. So you gotta be good at it.
In general, when you're wheeling, you need to be careful with stepping off the back of the bike and bailing.
Yeah.
Stepping off the back. If you pull your back brake and you have brakes, your bike is gonna slam down.
Yeah, if you pull your back brake, your bike will go down. And that's kind of leading into our next segment of using the back brake to really do a longer wheelie.
It's a safety button, and it helps you find your balance point.
Yeah, exactly. Because at first we didn't really use our back brake. We just kind of went with it and went back. But the back brake is really the key to being able to wheelie. If you don't use your back brake, you're not wheeling.
Feather it.
Yeah, you gotta like, you don't pull it hard. This is basically your practice. Like, we can't really help you with this. You gotta really find out like what's perfect for you.
Sometimes you lean too far back, pull the back brake, get back in the balance point. Lean too forward, pedal a little bit, brake, pedal. It's just a combination. But everybody uses their back brake.
Show them an example.
You get too far back.
Look, back brake.
But like, it's also a safety button. If you feel like you're going too far back,
yeah,
it's gonna throw your bike down no matter what.
And also, as we said, don't use arms earlier. You don't use arms in the beginning, but when you're in the wheelie, you can bend your arms. So like, you can like bring it to your chest when you think you're about to. If your wheel's about to front back, you can like you do a row. You row it to your chest.
Yeah, that's how you can get 12 o'clock too if you want to do it the kind of cheap way.
But your body, really center of gravity to a point.
Basically, I don't think we got this point across at the beginning. Right when you get your wheel in the air and push with your feet, you also have to kind of like lean back and pull with your arms. It's like, it's all kind of like a movement, a motion.
Yeah, when I wheelie, so here's the thing. Your arms, if you have your arms bent, you're relying on your muscle in your arm to hold that front wheel steady. If your arms are straight, and if your arms are the same length, which I hope they are, you're not gonna have to rely, you're just gonna, if you just lean straight back, arms straight, the length of your arms is gonna keep the thing straight, your bones in the arm. You don't have to worry about the muscle, trying to like, worry about using your muscles to balance.
Yeah.
Like this, just let them snap back. The seat, arms snap back, and that's gonna pull your wheel straight up. So that's another reason to not use your arms when you do it like that. If you're beginning, you might pull one side weird, lose your balance.
Yeah.
Arms snap back.
That is the main thing. That is the main thing that I had trouble with when I started, either going from like left or right, kind of losing my balance mid-air. Tell them how to really like keep their balance straight and center instead of going left or right.
Is to determine how good your wheelie is going to be and how long you're going to keep your front wheel in the air. So
yeah, that's true.
When I start a wheelie, the key, arm snap, and I make a backwards L, like that. Ready?
See, notice how he pushes down with his feet, the very first thing we talked about in this video, and then he also kind of pulls up with the bars, leans back a little bit, but not too much at all. And then right once he's in the wheelie, he's automatically, like, he starts using his back brake and starts trying to find his balance point. That's what you gotta do. And locks out his arms.
The point on a bike is gonna be different.
Yeah, especially your weight and everything, and just the bike. If it's a dual suspension, if it's a hardtail, really.
Yeah, if it's a full suspension, you're gonna have a little bit more trouble because this is gonna adjust to the ground, and it's gonna bob a little bit. So you kind of have to work.
Brake, watch this.
You're working against each other.
Back brake is gonna. This suspension is
gonna
gonna
compress, and it's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit weird. because you're going to be having to work against the back because your shock is unpredictable. You know, you have pedal bob, so it's something to get used to.
That was a lot of information, so I'm assuming you're gonna kind of go through this video, playback, kind of go through everything that we talked about, and now we're just gonna kind of summarize everything that we just talked about to make it a little more simplified for you guys.
You yourself get ready, your bike has to be ready. Seat in a preferred position, gears in a preferred gear, and then your speed.
Just tell them to put their bike in 4.
Well, everybody has, someone have 3 in the front, some have 10 in the back, whatever.
Yeah, just find your comfortable gear.
Find the gear, optimal cruising gear, and then you already have your dominant foot, low rotation, pressure down, and go.
Here's an exact list. So, number 1, make sure you're in a good moderate cruising gear. Not too fast, not too slow. Enough to where it gives some resistance. Step number 2, make sure your left or right foot, your dominant, whichever it may be, is as high as it can be on the pedal rotation, so 90-degree angle. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna push down, kind of pull back, lean back a tiny bit, not too much because then you'll loop out. But it's mainly kind of like the push with your feet that gets your wheel in the air. So then once you're in the air, pedal, use your back brake, lock your arms, all that good stuff, and you should be fine. If you loop out, it's okay. It happens a lot. And you'll get to the point, you'll get to the point where you use your back brake so much that you just never loop out, and it's just not a thing. Okay, so that is the how to do a wheelie remaster video. As always, if you have comments, questions, or anything, comment them down below, and I'm usually able to explain it really well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new. Make sure to leave a like, and yeah, peace.